Williams. One moment as Mr. Williams joins us from Broad River Correctional. Mr. Williams?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir, for joining us here before the board.
Good afternoon, Mr. Williams. Mr. Williams, have you been able to do anything to get ready for parole, sir?
Yes, I have. I prepared place of residence with my sister and made contact with the community, the church, and to help me with my transition upon my being granted parole. I have with my family to help me to find a place of employment, although I think I'm past the retirement age, but I still want to be able to work and do positive things in the community.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Williams. Mr. Williams, were drugs or alcohol involved in your crime?
Yes, sir. I'm glad that you brought that up. I mean, it was drugs, and I just like to express that that was a terrible, real horrible thing on my part. Even though I was at my age that I was back then, to be involved in using drugs, to get high on, to party with, and that sort of thing, and passing drugs off to these three young girls and costing them their life was a very tragic thing. And it was over my years here in this prison, every day I live with the fact of the hurt that I brought to those three families. I mean, it's just it's something that you really can't make up, sir. You really can't. And when I look at and hear about people getting hurt and dying out there in society, and it always reminds me of the hurt that I brought to the three families and giving those girls, those young girls, drugs. And there is no excuse. It was wrong on my part, and I deeply, deeply, deeply regret it. I wish that
all right, Mr. Williams,
I had never done.
Mr. Williams, I have a question for you. Now, you were taking drugs also, correct?
Yes, sir.
So what type of programs have you taken since you've been incarcerated to help with your drug problem?
Well, I have taken what they offer at the institution over the years is when you are narcotic anonymous, what the institution has given, and of course I have not endured have partake in drugs. I have shared that behavior years, decades ago. I have gotten rid of that behavior. I have no desire to indulge in any type of drugs. As a matter of fact, I spend time over the years of talking to young people about not being involved in drugs and how dangerous it is to drugs. I've been on the program with the department traveling to schools back in the 80s, Operation Get Smart, telling young people what drugs will do to you and what my bad behavior with drugs, using drugs, caused the lives of three people, and that's something that we should never ever indulge in.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Williams, I also wanted you to know that we did receive a letter from Pastor Apostle Douglas Stiles through the witness portal on your behalf. I did want you to be aware that we did receive that letter and have reviewed it. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Is there anything else, Mr. Williams, that you want to make sure that this board knows today?
Yes, sir.
What is that?
Yes, sir. I am not a callous-hearted person. I am, and I regret deeply the harm and the pain that I have caused the family members of those three girls. They didn't get to see the world what it has grown into because of my behavior of using drugs. There is no excuse for that. It was wrong. But over the years, I have lived with that pain and been ashamed and hurtful within myself of the pain and hurt that I caused the families and that they have to go through over and over every day of living their lives without their loved ones. It was a bad act on my part, and I resent it. I regret it very much. I regret the fact that I participated and involved myself in such an act that caused the lives of 3 innocent people.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. We do appreciate that. And again, if you will exit the room, sir, we will get an answer for you later this afternoon. Thank you for appearing today. We do appreciate that.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome job. Awesome job.